because somewhere in 2022, when Mediama came up with the idea of building a stadium, they came to the conclusion that they could not afford it. So they started looking for investors to redevelop the TNA Stadium, a facility that did not belong to them. But they and some ex-directors of the club and some individuals they are powerful friends in government. So when I say ex-directors of the club, I'm talking about the former administrative manager Benjamin Kese, who at the time was the MCE for Takwa Nsuaim. You had a close ally of the club, George Mirikuduka, the former deputy lands and natural resources minister. So they came up with a document, floated it around, and eventually managed to get the Goldfields Foundation to agree to redevelop the facility. But Goldfields took it a step further to build a whole new stadium instead of just rebuilding the TNA park. This time they elevated it to a stadium. So happened. Now, when the facility was about to be completed, remember I did a report here last year that contrary to the convention and the expectation that the Goldfields Foundation were going to hand over the facility to the NSA, some powerful people were flirting with the idea of introducing a consortium to manage the stadium. Goldfields did what they had to do, handed it over to the NSA. But within a month or within 2 months of the handing over, some patrons of the facility started complaining about the poor state of the spanking new stadium.
Yeah.
And that essentially was the window or the opportunity that Benjamin Kese and his people needed.
And now they've literally messed up the facility. Is that a fair description of it?
It has been messed up. But the funny thing was that this was an unholy alliance of people appointed by the then NPP government, some people we know to be hardcore NDC guys who today are in the NDC government, and a lot of people affiliated with Mediama. So Benjamin Kese himself, who was the Takwa Nsuaim MCE, was a President Akufo-Addo appointee, and at the time, and a former administrative manager at Mediama. The task force he appointed had James Sitsofe, former chief executive and at the time consultant to the board of Mediama. James Bauer, our good friend, he at the time and is still the spokesperson for Mediama SC. It had Kofi Edu, who at the time was the brands and marketing manager for Mediama. As we speak, he has been appointed by the NDC government as the Ahanta West MCE. So you had this situation where some NDC and NPP guys came together to wrestle power from the NSA. Now, on September 18, the NSA released a statement essentially describing the task force as opportunistic, and they used the expression to quote them. They said, the said news, quote, seeks to take advantage of the current difficulties of the NSA in other regions to create the false impression that the facility, which was handed over to the NSA in just a month ago, had been run down. So this was the difficulties they were talking about. This was the period that Professor Chumisi had left office. Doji Numukevo had been appointed as the acting capacity, and not long after that, he also was on his way out. So essentially,
he was sacked.
The NSA did not have a strong leadership at that time. And the sports minister at the time also didn't really seem to care. That is what essentially allowed people close to Mediama to usurp the powers that ordinarily would have belonged to the National Sports Authority.
So, I mean, going forward now, because if you look at the pitch and the pictures that we've seen, it is not something that cannot be improved, recovered.
Yeah. Oh,
it's something that they can do it. But bottom line is, are you advocating for the facility to return to the NSA? Is that
I will not trust them either.
So
2 years ago,
who do you want to take up the facility now?
Goldfields Foundation. 2 years ago, and we had this discussion on Sports Zone. I'm glad Sitcho is on the Zoom today. It was myself, Sitcho, and friends who were discussing this 2 years ago. And my point has always been, you see, when they did the handing over, they handed over a document that was supposed to have a maintenance plan for the next decade to the National Sports Authority. I don't believe the NSA has demonstrated the capacity to maintain any state-of-the-art facility in this country. That is why I feel that for this one, it would have been important for the Goldfields Foundation themselves. And on Wednesday, I spoke to some members of the foundation, and they share in the disappointment all of us have regarding the current state of the facility. And my point has always been that manage this yourself. If you have to create a consortium, whatever it is, as far as its management is concerned, its day-to-day management, do that job yourself. Of course, you can give the Municipal Assembly and the NSA first right of refusal on its daily use. So if the national team needs the facility, if there is some regional middle league that the Regional Sports Development Office needs to organize in Takwa and they want to use it, they can have access to it. But in terms of managing the key components of it, the pitch, the VIP box, the stands, all the other areas that make up the stadium, I would not trust the NSA. I would not trust the task force. Because look at all of these individuals, and with the greatest of respect to our friends who were on that task force, none of them has the experience or the track record of managing an edifice like that. Even the new task force that has been set up by the new MC, the same.
All right, let me bring Mufti in on this one. He hasn't spoken yet. I've also seen Sitsofe has joined us, and Fentuo is also on. And so we'll see. Well, Mufti, you can come in on this one. Do you support? Because I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if you want to consider the work that Ampofu is doing at the ministry at the moment. You want to take what do you call it? The Accra Sports Stadium as reference point.
The NSA, you mean?
Yeah, the NSA.
Okay.
You want to take the Accra Sports Stadium as reference points and how they are managing it. Isn't the last 6 or 5
over the years,
months.
one of the things I've always said is that some of the challenges we have in this country are systemic, right? It's not you need to build strong institutions, systems that work, systems that have got quality within them to be able to succeed. But we are in a country where politics will always supersede common sense. Politics will always supersede technical brains. Sometimes we often feel that because of your political affiliation to some people, you should be given the opportunity to manage a facility. Over the years, many of us actually think that the easiest way to maintain sporting infrastructure is water them. Go there with your sprinkler or your hose and
watering can in some cases.
Or your watering can,
These
and
days,
you are good to go.
I think these days is water tank. You see, that I'm not sure Syntex sponsors the show. Do they?
That
They
is
don't.
fine.
Okay.
But from where I sit, as Atsu has mentioned, I don't know if I can also trust the NSA to take over the maintenance of this facility. And I've always said one thing. If you invest money in something, the kind of energy, the kind of focus, the kind of attitude you show towards that product is completely different when someone else does it. That's why we always hear I buy property. I buy property. So
it's a very bad mindset.
It's a bad attitude.
mindset.
It's a terrible attitude many of us have got. We always think that, this is a buying, this is a buying.
Yeah.
But this property belongs to the Goldfields Foundation. They have invested, though they did it for the community. Their investment is actually the reason why that edifice is standing there. And the president of the country, when he met the media, actually extolled it as one of the facilities he has tasked the Ministry of Sports and Recreation to engage the architects, engage the consultants, the people who worked on it, so that they can replicate same across regions that do not have facilities. The Goldfields Foundation, the kind of attitude they will approach when it comes to the maintenance of that facility would be completely different from when they engage any public institution in this country to do same. We're in this country where you go to most of the public offices, even they report to work at 11, 10, 12, 1. By 2 p.m. they will go home. But when you work as a private employee, the kind of attitude you even dedicate to the job is also completely different. Why do we have issues when it comes to all the facilities we've got in this country? The Aliu Muhammad Stadium. We saw it. It was a terrible state. Baba Yara, to the extent that CAF came and told us that we should do what we should change the grass completely. Kotoko will be playing his CAF Champions League Confederation Cup match in Accra because the Baba Yara Sports Stadium is not fit for purpose. CAF did not approve it. Then we have 1,001 other facilities in this country that are not fit for purpose. Who are the people managing those facilities? It's not the NSA. And you want to add this job to them. Mr. Yampo Fankra, I beg you. I don't know whether you want it.
The last time I spoke to him, he said the major challenge when it comes to maintenance of our facilities is funds. He said they don't have the money. The money to maintain the facility and keep it in the states that we all be happy and can always have access to. He said they don't have the money.
But every single public institution in this country doesn't have money.
Zach,
those agency was seated here. He was talking about how an agency which is supposed to support them fight Galamsey didn't even have cars and common fuel to move no day.
See those rehashed questions and problems.
And Sitcho, you can come in.
I don't want to hear.
You can come in.
See, I for one, I don't want to hear. And the last time when I spoke to Yampo Fankra, I told him that look, from here on, people want answers and solutions. Yeah, we know the NSA doesn't have money, and so what?
And so you don't have money?
No, so fix the problem. If you can't do it, don't take that job.
Well, why will you get it?
For me, it's that simple.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying I don't. If you give this facility to the NSA, this line that Yampo Fankra said a few weeks ago is what will be rehashed to the rest of us. Anytime you raise key issues about the state of this facility, we're talking about $16.2 million US. $16.2 million US. And our attitude towards this is going to be, well, the NSA never has money anyway. The NSA doesn't have expertise anyway. We're doing feasibility studies, everyday feasibility studies.
Let me bring Sitcho in briefly, and then we can go to Fent and get into the world athletics, because Ghana's, at least I think it's Rosie Abua who has so far made us proud by qualifying to the final of the high jump. There's still the relay, event to happen, which we're all looking forward to. But Sitcho, let me bring get you quickly on this one so that I can go to Fent. Sitcho, I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sharp. I can hear you.
But Sitcho looks cute too.
Oh, you be fine, boy. Sitcho, you be fine, man. Now.
I think he's well refreshed.
Did you see what you did? Sitcho, let's go.
Yeah. Look. The truth of the matter is, and there are facts to it. The truth of the matter is that the NSA, as it is, or the function of the institution, is not at the moment in 2025 feasible, because it is there in name. It is there in law, but what it needs to make it functional is not happening. And we build the NSA and its functions on idealism, right? But the reality on the ground, on the Ghanaian context, hasn't necessarily been incorporated into it. So many people say NSA should find the money, NSA should be looking to how to generate or raise money. Truth of the matter is, to be very factual, there isn't any NSA, and I said it here when Chumesi was in position. I don't see how any NSA boss can raise money with the infrastructure we have in this country and our sporting culture. The Ghanaian sporting culture is built on three things. The Ghanaian sporting man wants to go and watch the game for free. He wants to see the game on TV for free. The Ghanaian, so making money off the facility, it's a tough thing. Now, the primary thing that could have brought...
And Sitcho, just to, talking about the culture of the Ghanaian man wanting to watch things for free, reminds me of what happened when the Black Stars played Mali about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago.
8 September.
They were jumping the wall. I'm not sure if you saw that video. They were jumping the wall while people had gone to buy tickets and were queuing to enter. others decided to jump the wall. And there was one gentleman who had the Ghana flag wrapped around his neck, and he was telling people that Charlie Mubra. So by morning,
people are breaking gates to get them. The point I'm trying to make is the stadium and the facilities that we see are supposed to generate money. In other places, they generate money because people are paying to go into the facilities to watch a game or to enjoy concerts. Now, here's the thing. We the facility that we have is not even fit enough to host concerts all year round. You know, the stadium Barcelona used last season, the Montjuic. When Barca told them that they were not going to use it again this season, and Camp Nou delayed, Barca wanted to go and play there last weekend. But he had been booked for a show. And the condition was that if the show is done, the pitch won't be football ready. So Barca can't use it, couldn't have used it last week. Now, here's the thing. All throughout the year, these facilities are hosting big events. And the event that they are hosting is not only Spanish musicians who are going there to sing. You have people coming from the USA, coming from South Africa, people coming from Africa to come and do their shows there. So all year round, there are shows, there are things happening. At the Accra Sports Stadium and in Ghana, how many people are coming here to use our facilities for big shows? Right? So there's the revenue, the source, the revenue for our facilities in Ghana is very different from what is purported around the world. So the truth of the matter is, what solutions are realistically there to raise money with the facilities as they are? Because one, the facilities are incredibly outdated. They don't have conference rooms fit enough for big conferences. They don't have spaces where corporate Ghana can go and say that I'm hiring this place for 5 days. I'm doing a workshop for my people. They don't have, restaurants where people can go there and have lunch. They don't have anything tourism about it. And this is not a fault of the NSA. This is a system and a structural problem. So truly, when the NSA has a deal with Hearts, Kotoko, and all Ghanaian Premier League clubs that, look, we know you don't have money, so come and use our facilities and let's share revenue. They are hoping that the Ghana football people or GFA or the leagues or the clubs will be able to bring their fans into the stadium. And when they pay the money, they split and they use part of the money to solve the problem that confronts our facility. The truth is, there really is no money for the NSA to run. And I'm saying that Chumesi, and the reason why I had a problem with Chumesi was this. Instead of him to admit that they didn't have money and the problems were the realities on the ground, he kept on defending things that were indefensible. And that is why people thought he was insulting our intelligence. If a pitch is not good, he will tell us it is good. If the stadium is not in good shape, he will tell us it's in good shape. And the honest truth that all Ghanaians must come to accept is that the governments as it sits, right, have not necessarily backed the NSA as they should. And the NSA, with the facility that they've been giving, look, if you go to Talu, or if you go to GMPC, or all the or Ghana Gas are dealing directly with gas, which the government is selling for it's a consumable. If you go to Petroleum Commission, it's a consumable. So people are directly buying it for daily use. But the stadium is not the same. NSA's function and what they have to work with is not the same. So for me, I think that the reason why the NSA has not been efficient and effective is because we've copied an idea from people whose football, whose fans and their behavior towards the sports is different, and whose economic structures are different from ours. So it is true. The NSA have not shown that they have the capacity to raise money or the capacity to manage the stadium. And that is why I would be skeptical to hand them the one that BPM has been using in Takwa. But the point then is, if they don't manage, who else will? Personally, I'm disappointed that the TNS stadium has become what it is, because for me, I wanted another person, another group, another body to manage that facility properly so that all of us would see how it will turn out. Because let's look at this. The Lagos Sports Stadium only recently was renovated for the All African Games. We understand that the University of Ghana is in charge of the stadium as we speak. Is it any better? Is the stadium any better? In truth, When people want to go and rent the place and use it, are they paying the premium money they should pay to use the facility? Because if they charge that amount of money, the truth of the matter is nobody can use the facility. So they have to downprice the price of the facility for people to come and use it. But the problem is they will never raise enough money to be able to maintain it. What they have to do now is to levy students to be able to maintain it. So look, we are in a country where the problem that confronts us, we need to drop the two ways. It should have been this, it should have been that, and confront the realities of the matter. That as a country, we don't even need a 40,000 capacity stadium across regions. Maybe we need 15. Maybe we need 12. Maybe we need 9. And only one 60,000 capacity, which is there, and we back it with some money that will always come through for maintenance. Because we can't do, look, truth is, Ghana as it stands, we can't maintain a Sitsofe, Kamali, Papayama, and Accra Sports Stadium at the same time. It's not possible. Because what if Kamali Sports Stadium generating? What's the revenue? What would secondary generate? Accra Sports Stadium, where have to folk Olympics, Accra Lions and many teams play. How much money do they generate? That is the cracks. Those are the cracks of the matter. That is the reality on the ground, and that is where we have to start finding solutions to.
Well, I think very.
Until Fancy Gadam has a show at the Ali Mahmoud Stadium.
Yeah, you're never going to see the facility.
But just a quick one on what Sitsofe was saying. It's actually very funny. You know, we have used the Legon Stadium twice for Joy Sports Invitational. And I remember one of them, Accra House of Folk were supposed to use the facility around the same time. And we had gone there, we were doing some shoes. House of Folk came and they were complaining. They said they have rented the facility and what. And I pulled out our check because we had just made a commitment payment for the facility. And our commitment payment was actually 50% more than what House of Folk has paid in total to use the facility.
Wait, relax. So if you say the people they charge as fast as folk.
Oh, but it'd be normal. It'd be normal. So actually, when the House of Folk people saw our figure, they were like, oh, and they went to every bill.
But it's a very fundamental point because, as Sitsofe said, and Atsu, you seem to depart from it. That even though that is the reality, you are put there to solve problems. Yes, the facility is incapable of generating the kind of revenue it needs to maintain it. But knowing that is the reality, the question is, what are you doing to find alternative funding to maintain the facility? Now, we want to move on because I understand Fent is on. He's at the championship and we need to speak to him quickly. Then hopefully he can return to his coverage of it. Fent, not sure if you're there. If you're there, can we hear you so that we can just be clear with your sound? Of course, it has to do with the World Athletics Championship. The Ghanaian team there so far is Rose Yeboah, who has been able to make it to a final in any of the event that the teams Fent seem to have left. We'll bring him back. He could rejoin and we'll get to talk to him.
But we're going to just talk about that briefly.
Yeah, we can talk about that briefly.
Rose Yeboah jumping 1.92 meters to make it to the final.
So far, she's the only one who has made it to the final.
Yeah, so far. She's the only one who has made it to the final.
Make it in the 200 meters.
You see, when it comes to the track events, right, the track events, over the years, we appear to have the talents, but some of the challenges we often have is the fact that most of these athletes, they do not have, again, the funding to be able to fully focus.
Well, I understand Fent has rejoined now. So, Mufti, please just hold your thoughts. Let me get to him so that we can be done with him and he can go and continue what he's doing. Fent, I hope you can hear me. It's not been a very decent outing for the Ghanaian contingent, with the exception of Rose Yeboah. Alex Mankwa, 800 meters, could not make it to the semi-final. Ibrahim Hussein, 200 meters. I think one...
Rashid Saminu.
Yes, Saminu did pretty well. Made it to the semi-final.
The semi-final of the 100 meters.
Yes, came fourth. Just couldn't nick it, but it was a good outing for him. But so far, it's Rose Yeboah in the finals of the women's high jump on Sunday. And I'm not too sure what her chances are, but so far, okay, just okay. Fent, I hope you can hear me.
Maybe the
yeah, I can hear you now. Let's hear from you. I mean, why have our athletes failed to impress? The expectation wasn't too high, but we're hoping they will make us a little more proud than we've seen.
I don't think I agree with you that they failed to impress or that they didn't do well. In fact, I've been covering the World Championship since 2019. This is the best World Championship since I started covering in fact, this is the best World Championship for Ghana in 20 years. It's the first time an individual athlete has made the final of any competition with Musbau. And I'm sure you are aware of that statistic. In 20 years, not one, male or female, not one individual athlete has made the final of any individual competition until Rose did yesterday. So by comparison, this has been the best championship in my lifetime since I started covering athletics. So congratulations to Rose Amweni-Mayabua, who's made history by becoming the first Ghanaian, male or female, in 20 years to qualify for the finals of an individual event. All the guys that we've been following all these years, none of them has been able to achieve this feat, Musbau. And that is crazy to think about. That the likes of Azamati and Joe Paul and all these very good sprinters we've seen in the past, none of them has managed to make the final of their individual events in the World Championship until Rose Yeboah popped up and did it yesterday. She made history. Of course, we've seen the relay team make the final once in that period in Eugene in 2022. They made the final, and that was the only final, in fact, that any of our teams have made since 2005. So the relay team itself has made one World Championship final in that period. Rose has equaled that record as an individual, and like I said, in my lifetime covering athletics, this is the first time I've celebrated an individual Ghanaian athlete making the final. So as far as I'm concerned with Val, it's been beyond expectation. I am over the moon. I'm absolutely completely overjoyed.
Now I get why you were screaming inside the stadium.
I mean, okay, great. But then let's narrow in on Rose Yeboah. Let's narrow in on Rose Yeboah. I mean, of course, in terms of, as you said, the following, she's not been one that a lot of people were even paying close attention to. I think we saw what she did at the African Games there. She caught the attention of a lot of people.
Let me put this on top. My hand is tired.
What did he say?
He said someone should bring his ties and put the thing on it.
It's kawawa.
No, hold it like that. It's okay. Hold it like that. So I said someone should hold the phone for me because my hand was tired. I want to stand like this.
His hand is tired, so someone should hold the phone for him.
Oh, he's tired. Okay.
He's in the mix zone. Okay.
Yes, so Kawawa is doing that work. He's on the other side.
So let him work. So what is Kawawa standing there doing?
He's working. He's working.
Okay.
He's working. He's working.
Anyway, so yeah, friend, I was saying, so let's
Somebody wants to watch me. Let me find my stream for you so you can watch me. I'm a superstar. Back to your question.
Yes, Rose Yeboah. I mean, talk to me about Rose Yeboah, though. We saw at the African Games. Brilliant. That probably that's the first time that a lot of people in Ghana got to hear of her. Talk to me about her journey to making it to the finals of the World Athletics Championship and achieving the kind of feat she has achieved.
Yeah, Razak. Look, to be honest with you, I think Rose Yeboah is the greatest, alongside Badaini and maybe Ali Sanum, female athletes of all time in Ghana's history. This young lady has done absolutely incredible things that have never been done before. She's a one-time World University champion. She holds the World University's record in the high jump. She's a two-time African University champion. She's a two-time African champion. She's a two-time African Games champion. And Rose Yeboah has been unbeaten on the continent of Africa in the women's high jump in 6 years, since 2019, since this young lady emerged onto the scene of the high jump. Nobody has beaten her on the African continent.
In fact, go back by 1 year. In 7 years, actually, since 2018.
You understand? So there you go. So it's ridiculous what she's been able to achieve, and she's done it with quite a number of mitigating factors. I think she's probably the most talented athlete we've had in a generation or two. And the circumstances under which she came to compete here are quite disheartening. Razak, yesterday, I'm sure you had the interview. She complained bitterly about the way the last year in particular has gone for her. At the Paris Olympic Games, the issues that she faced, not having her coach there, who didn't make the final, obviously, and then after that, she went through quite a lot at her university, but she still managed to finish second in in the NCAA. And get this, Rose Yeboah is also the first Ghanaian ever to win a U.S. University Championship competition, and she smashed the championship record, 1.97. The whole American collegiate system, Rose Yeboah is the first Ghanaian ever to win that particular competition in the female category. And, she did it brilliantly, and last year till now, she's had to go through quite a lot, and she admitted that much. And this year in particular has been very bad because after the NCAA competition, which ended somewhere in the middle of June, Razak, this girl has not entered one competition up until she took to the field yesterday. From June up until now, she's not competed once in any competition whatsoever. All she's been doing is training. And she's not been training with resources from the government or from the Ghana Athletics or from anybody. In fact, her coach, she said, had to cancel his vacation plans with his family to stay with her, to train her at the university. But the state, after she qualified for the championship, contributed absolutely nothing towards her preparation to this competition. He complained about quite a number of things that, might be very unpleasant to put on air because, she said a lot of those things off air. So there's a reason she said them off air. So we need to respect that sort of confidentiality. But the bottom line from everything that she said yesterday was that she's not had enough support. The state hasn't supported her. The government hasn't. She hasn't shown enough support. And she basically seems like she's been left alone with her coach. In fact, she said that her coach, who was present yesterday, by virtue of his presence, was why Rose qualified. Because remember that even at 1.83, Rose knocked down the bar at her first attempt. And then she went to speak to the coach. I took a picture yesterday, a video, and shared it yesterday. The coach came in there with the Ghana flag. And the coach was not even accredited to come and coach at this competition by Ghana Athletics. It was by mere fortune. He happens to be the coach of two other decathletes, and he used one of those decathletes to get accreditation. So his accreditation didn't even come from Ghana Athletics, but he got that accreditation to come and coach Rose, and he coached Rose into a history-making performance yesterday. So listen, I would say this, Razak, I can say that. Look, she has shown enough potential. She's shown enough consistency for the state to say, you know what, let's invest in this young lady. Because the only reason she didn't enter any competition between June and now was because she had no resources to go anywhere, to travel to Europe or to enter any competition or take a flight to go and compete anywhere. In fact, she said she had some invitations to go and compete in some Diamond League events. She didn't have the resources to go. So, and this is the thing. This is what the sports funds should be for. This is what the state needs to be doing. This is where we need to be getting involved. We need to be committed to sports development. But I think when it comes to athletes, it's very simple. Just, Atsu and I, we've spoken about this a lot. UK Athletics is doing it with funding from UK Lottery. Basically set up a fund and make sure that all of these athletes can access that fund using some performance indexes. So for someone like Rose, who has shown enough consistency over the years, if you qualify for a major competition, give the athletes a certain amount of money to prepare them. If they go to the competition and they perform to a certain level, let's say make the final, you make another fund available for them to continue to develop. All the athletes that are qualified, Samin, Ibrahim Hussein, none of them received a Peswa to go towards their preparation. The only thing we did akin to preparation was take the relay team to a 10-day camp in Texas before they got here. But what about the individual athletes? Understand? What about the individual athletes? And that Sharika just walks in past. Fortunately, she's stopwatch. She's got bronze in the women's 200-meter relay. So I'm not sure if you guys have a second, we could just take her thoughts on what she makes of her competition before we go on.
We don't have a second. We have an hour. Go ahead.
Guys, just hold on for me real quick.
So you've been hearing from Fentuo from Tokyo, and he's just trying to get in touch with Sharika, who won the bronze medal.
Really up and down here this year, but I am grateful. I am standing on the podium again, and I'm happy. How this year has been difficult for you? What the accomplishment actually mean for you? I think most of it was mental, because once you get hurt and then the mental aspect of that, it plays on my mind. So I think most of this year I worked on my mental health a lot, and I showed up tonight. I just wanted to put the pieces together. Tonight I wasn't a gold medalist, but I leave in here with a faithful bronze medal. So what's next for you? Oh, we have the 4x1 and then go have some fun.
That's about it, because it looks like a new young talent in there. The Clayton sisters, Killian is in there. You're still in there. Talk about that fun.
Honestly, I've said this last year, because last year I don't want to say younger sister, but Tia made the Olympic final at 19, and that's good, because at 19 a lot of persons weren't at the Olympic Games. So for her to make the final last year, and then this year her sister got the silver medal in the 100, I think it's really, really good. And Shelly, as I said, Shelly closed her campaign here, which is really, really hard. It's just a good feeling to know that she started her career here, she ended it here. She also made the final, which is good at such a age. She made the final, and I think all the youngsters are coming up. Every year we have somebody new, so we can't just say we have 2 or 3 persons. We have everybody showing up, and I think that is something we are grateful for, to have especially the younger ones. They come in, they're running fast. So put together, everybody together is just a powerhouse as always.
Tough here. Honestly, to be here in itself must feel really, really great. Yeah. Did you think that you would make it? You would be standing here from the way last year went up until now.
Honestly, last year I left the Olympics so early because I did not compete, and I left. I was on a flight from Paris to Miami, and I cried the whole flight. But as I said, regardless, we have to show up. As I said, my mental aspect was damaged badly, and I had to get that intact. And I think by standing here is just a testimony. I am healthy this year, so I can't really focus on last year. Last year is gone. I can't take back that year. But this year I said I wanted to fix my mental state. I am here and I'm happy and I'm grateful. So regardless, even if I had not gotten a medal, just by showing up and being here healthy, is a win for me.
Sharika Oblique wins the 100-meter title. Kishan on the podium. Brian is in there in the 200. Yourself in the 200. It looks like there's some fire in the belly for the jump.
Definitely, and you also miss Tina. She also you also miss that. But I think it's a really good feeling. As I said, most of them are very young. So just because I think Oblique is like 23. So all of them, minus me, because I'm 31, but all of them are very young, and to know that they came on this big stage and performed so well, I think they have a lot more in store.
In terms of mentoring,
so you've been hearing from Fent and be hearing from Sharika Jackson, who managed to clinch the bronze medal in the women's 200. Of course, the other event we're looking forward to is Rosie was final on Sunday, the women's high jump final on Sunday. Then we have the men's 4x100 event that's also coming up. I'm sure what's the name, Muftawu has got the details on when they're going to run. We'll see. I think that's with the exception of Rosie, but that's the only other events we've got, right?
I'm looking forward to when a lot of persons don't understand mental health, but
the current leadership of the
very
GUC,
important.
the current leadership of Ghana Athletics, and the Ministry for Sports and Recreation, they need to sit up. They need to sit up, because I think in the past year, in the last 2 or 3 years, there has been enough publicity about the quality of talents that we have. whether the oldies like it or not, this group appears to be the greatest Ghana has ever produced. They are breaking national records for fun. And the 1.92 that Rosie Yeboah cleared is not even the best she has done. Last year in June, she cleared 1.97. Except that when she did it, the Ghana Olympic Committee sabotaged her, the sports ministry sabotaged her. Because after clearing the mark of 1.97 in June, she and her mates, in fact her friends, remember Lamar Destin?
Yeah, I'm very much aware of the story you're talking about.
Who is her close friend? She got sponsorship, made it to the Diamond League, went there, did well, and made it to the Olympic Games. Now, whilst her friends were using elite competitions like the Diamond League to prepare for the Olympic Games, she was sent to...
All right, just briefly, Atsu, so that we can just part ways with Fent. Fent, if you can hear me. Fent, I hope you can hear me. All right, guys, if you can work on Fent's Zoom sound so that we can hear him.
It appears Fent has gone back to take his phone from...
Yeah, we can hear you now. We can hear you now. Great.
Give the phone to Kawawa. Now, this thing you are doing there.
Why did you go to collect the phone from Kawawa?
Give the phone to Kawawa.
He has also gone to take the interview. So, Charlie, he's going to...
I didn't collect the phone from Kawawa. Weezy, they asked me to come and hold the phone, my friend.
What did you say? You said we are asking
come
Kawawa to come and take the phone.
I think he's trying to send a file, but... I made my point on Rose very clear.
Yeah.
But anyway, could you guys hear Sharika there?
Yeah, we heard her. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, yeah.
I
hope you enjoyed the Patois accent. Did you understand anything?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Her accent is actually very Polish.
I suspect you. I don't think you understood anything she was saying.
Oh, I did.
No, her accent
I
is
did.
Polish.
I did.
What is the one thing you picked up from what she said?
I'm 31. I'm 31.
Yeah, I'm 31. I mean, I think she was.
If you compare her to Shelley and Fraser Price, she is much
but more
cleaner
importantly, she was
speaker.
opening up about her mental health. You know, she's had a difficult year.
Yeah.
You know, you still remember the Olympic Games. She had to pull out of the Olympic Games. So she didn't compete. So she didn't have a chance to even go in there and try to win the 200 meters or anything like that. It was really difficult.
Yeah.
And then after that, she had a mental breakdown. So she was talking about the importance of having taking mental issues very seriously. And that's what Rose also spoke about, you know. She said that after last year, the way it went, because she went to Paris with a lot of expectation, you know, but she didn't have a coach and it was so chaotic. And, you know, so after that, she had a very difficult year herself. And Sharika says that she's lucky because she has a therapist, because when she's going through a problem, she picks up the phone, she makes one phone call and she's okay. Who does Rose call when she has that kind of problem? Because we don't have enough money. We haven't invested enough, to try and help her get to that point. So, you know, like I was saying, she's had a myriad of issues.
Wait, what's Kwawa says what?
Or you call your pastor or your imam.
Anyway.
So, Fen, let's talk about the 4 by 100.
Sitcho's point is very valid. In Ghana, when you have issues, you have to call your pastor or your man on what. But they have physiotherapy.
It is well. Yeah. Fen, let's talk about the 4 by 100 men. The event coming up. Any chance, the team repeating what they did in Oregon?
It's going to be very difficult. I've seen the Hitz. You've seen the team where they find themselves. We've run the slowest time amongst all the teams that are in Ghana's Heat, and on top of that, we also have a really bad lane. Lane 2 is not great in relays or in any sprint event. Lane 2 is pretty bad. Contrary to what many.
Let me ask you, Musbau, we say it's a 400-meter track, which means that scientifically across every angle, it ends up being 400 meters. Why do you have a good track? Why do you have a bad track? Why do you have a good track?
It's a good question. Let me explain to you. You know, in running, it's like in every battle, even in football, you know how like in defense, when you're defending against a striker, you want to feel the striker. So positioning is important. Like you want to see, you want to have a sense of where they are.
Right.
Thing is, when you are on the inside lane or on the outside lane, so lane 9 or in lane 2, you're unable to really see what's happening exactly. So you're unable to see what's happening around you. So you're unable to time your runs very well. It's important because everything. But you see, you can focus on yourself, but everything is a calculation. Because when you see, look, I'll give you a good example. Yesterday, the 400 meters, right? The 400-meter final. You see, Boyapo and Dore, I don't know if you watched it. He came from behind to win, to get the bronze. Remember, he came from nowhere. And after the race, he said the reason he gave it everything, he said by about 72 meters to the end of the race, he looked in front and he saw that his teammate was right in front. He was going to win gold, and it looked like he was so far off. So he just took off and threw everything at the race. So sometimes being aware of your opponent's position can really help your performance. It helps you, manage the race better, because everything is about management. Every race is about management. Once you are competing against people, you can't just focus on yourself. You have to focus on the opponent too. You have to see what the opponent is also doing. Unfortunately, when you are in lane 1, lane 2, or out in lane 8, it's incredibly difficult. It's not that it can't be done, obviously, like I said. We've seen people win from those lanes. But we're saying that it makes it makes it extra difficult for you. And I think Ghana and that's why Sitso, and I don't understand athletics at this point, because especially when it comes to lane assignment. So that's why the best athletes, when you get the best time, you get lane 5. In fact, you get lane 4, 5, 6. So if you check, lane 4, 5, 6 are always occupied by the fastest runners. Those lanes are seen as reward for your fast time. So they give you the best lanes. So that's why in the heats, you find a lot of athletes trying to run to win those heats so that they can get better lanes in the subsequent races. Because if you don't win, if you have the slowest time going into a final, you're going to get a bad lane. They're either going to be put in lane 1 or shunted out to lane 8. So, and there's a reason that is the case. And you have a point when you say, okay, it's equal. So it could be a mix. It could be a myriad of things. But the bottom line is, once the athletes believe that it's tough, mentally it's always going to be tough. It works, exactly. So that's the situation with regard to where we find ourselves in that lane. And I think, and we've run. So the reason we are in lane 1 is because we have the slowest time among all the other 8 contenders in the relays this season, and that's the problem. But they had 10 days to work on baton changes. Since they came here, they've had another 7 days to work on baton changes. So I hope that they've done enough to sort that out. Because if they can get the baton changes right, I think they will be able to make the final. The top 3 make the final, plus the 2 fastest losers. So we can finish 4th or even 5th. But if our heat is fast enough, we can still finish in those positions and make the final. We've not made the final since Eugene. Budapest, 2 of the relay athletes got injured and we pulled out of the relay, so we didn't even run. Then we went to Paris and we saw how the baton change went. It didn't end well either. So we desperately need this. Remember that Joe Paul came here specifically only for the relays. So since day 1, he's been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Tomorrow is finally his day. He didn't qualify for the individual event, so all he's got is the relay, and it has to work. It has to work. Azamati ran on the first day, didn't make it out. So from the first day, Saturday up to tomorrow, that's 1 week he's had rest. The only one who's competed since is Rashid and Husseini, and those 2 should also be looking sharp. So hopefully it all comes together for them tomorrow, and I think they need that. It has to come together for them. If not, we could be seeing we could be seeing the end of what has been an incredible era for our relay team, with Azamati and Joe Paul constantly at the helm of it, having led this team to incredible things. They've made people believe in running again. They've made people believe in athletics again. And whatever happens tomorrow, I think they deserve their due, because they've got the entire country very much interested. Because up until Azamati and Joe Paul and Co showed up in 2019, we hadn't been excited about athletics for quite a bit, if we are being honest with ourselves. Those guys have brought a lot of interest back. And I think that in itself can serve as the springboard for us to invest even further in athletics going forwards.
Fent, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us. I just wanted you to touch briefly, maybe in 1 minute or two, on in terms of the general outlook, the performance. I think what's his name? Lars just won the 200 meters. He retained his title, but
this is the greatest, one of the greatest African athletes of all time. Okay, one of the greatest the continent has ever produced, ladies and gentlemen. Fabrice Zango, give it up for him. I'm live on radio in Ghana. Say big shouts to everyone. Yeah. He's a doctor, man. He has a PhD. The only athlete with a PhD. That's crazy. You are so smart. You're so smart. God bless you. God bless you for everything. Fabrice Zango, he finished 7th in the triple jump. He's a former world champion, to be honest, but he's coming to the end of his career. He says this will be his last ever championship, and then he'll call it a day. But he's another athlete that has inspired a generation of jumpers in Burkina Faso. And you can see they had Matt Kuala here as well, one of the female triple jumpers from Burkina Faso. In fact, the only one from Africa that was here. And that is all the impact and all the inspiration provided by Fabrice Zango. And quite all of these other jumpers are coming along as a result. And this is what we are talking about, when athletes spring up, they can inspire a generation. Hopefully our generation is inspired, and then we can invest and reap the results.
Well, Fen, thank you very much. Thank you for making time, and hopefully we will continue the conversation after the 4x100.
It's not midnight in Tokyo.
No, today you're lucky. It's only 11:26, so it's not midnight yet.
11:26
p.m. Yes, and we're still in the mix zone. By the time we leave here to get to the train station, it's past midnight. The trains close at midnight. If we don't make it to the train station at midnight, we have to walk to the hotel or take a taxi. The taxi is very expensive. If we take a taxi, then we can have to go and clean toilets to make enough money to be able to buy food for the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Or Sitso has to send me money, or else Yawa has come.
All right, thank you, Vince. Thank you very much. Anyway, guys, you still listen to Game Plan here. You heard from Fan, join us all the way from Tokyo, Japan, where the World Athletics Championship is happening. And, of course, Game Plan, big thanks to Platinum, Petrosol Platinum Energy, energizing your dreams, Betway, Getway more. They've been supporting us. We want your messages to come through. I'm going to hear briefly from Atsu. He wanted to touch a bit on Rosebo, then we can switch to some football action that happened in the course of the week in the Champions League. And, of course, talking about football action, the CAF Confederations Cup is here. The much anticipated first preliminary round of the CAF Confederations Cup take place this Sunday, 21st of September. As at the Crash Sports Stadium featuring Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Kwara United of Nigeria. Fans can enjoy thrilling football action with ticket rates set at 50 Ghana cedis for the popular stand, 70 Ghana cedis for the center line, and 100 Ghana cedis for lower VIP and 150 for upper VIP. So make sure you don't miss this very exciting clash as two giants of African football battle for glory. Come in your numbers and cheer your favorite club to victory. And of course, it's all about Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Wukuma Pema Apimbeba. What a way to honor the memory of Nana Kunedu Yadom III, Kotoko. Crash Sports Stadium this Sunday. Make sure you get your ticket. And of course, you can buy the ticket at the front decks of Joy FM. Come to Joy FM and you can get the ticket. I'm not sure if Atsu want to show some generosity. But anyway, we'll see how that works out.
There's one aspect of what you just said that I don't like.
Which is?
They say come in your numbers and cheer your favorite club. Do you have any other favorite club? The only club that must win that day is Kotoko.
That's why I emphasize it.
Yes, it is only Kotoko that matters. Yeah. Kwara United, if we go to Kwara and they want to Kwara as they should stay.
Well, while talking about Kwara United, we are also telling you that we want you to listen to this one because now, do you know anybody who has finished writing their exams?
BC,
SHS, anybody?
Yes. Relax.
BC, they are now trying to sort out their placement, but still, they are part of it.
So if I know anyone who has...
Do you know anyone who has finished writing Wasi?
Wasi, yes.
I have a message for
you. My cousin.
Atsu, anybody?
No. In fact, did I say my cousin? Actually, my nephew.
Your nephew?
Yeah.
Atsu, nobody?
Nobody.
You sure?
Yeah.
Esther. No, Esther, will you write it?
Which Esther? Shout out to Mubarak. He's my nephew. Yeah.
All right, man. So if you finish writing your exams, listen to this. The stress is over now, and it's time for our SHS leavers to step into the next chapter of their lives in style. And of course, we're introducing Pens Down Level Up 2025, happening the 18th of October at the breathtaking Bonsu Eco Park. Now, if you're a parent out there and your ward just finished writing the Awasi exam, listen to this. This is not just another fun trip. It's an educational experience where your wards will receive first-hand guidance from Ghana's top universities on admissions, course selection and career path. Trusted reps will be on ground to answer all the important questions before your child take the next big leap. And to all the students, all our amazing graduates, get ready for a day packed with zip lining, swimming, canopy walks, horse riding, music, food, and a live concert with your favorite stars. It's all about memories, vibes, and preparing you for the journey ahead. And of course, to all the companies out there, all our value partners, this is where you meet Ghana's next generation face to face. This is your chance to connect, to inspire and activate your brand with the future. If you want to register to be part of the event, just pay 300 Ghana cedis with your name and location via the Momo number 0244 272460. Take the number again, 0244 272460, and the name is Emily Nyako to book your seat. So to all our parents, all our students, and all our sponsors,
is that Emily who?
Nyako.
Emily Nyako, our very own Emily.
Relax. Make sure you don't miss this. Pens Down Level Up 2025, education, tourism, entertainment all in one. 18th of October, Bonsu Eco Park. Tickets are still available for only 300 Ghana cedis. And again, you can pay via the Momo number 0244 272460. And the name is Emily Nyako. For more inquiries, you can also call 0242 376226. Pens Down Level Up, drip to drip. And of course, this event is powered by Media Concept and High School Clicks and the Multimedia Group. Well, big games happen in the course of the week. Bayern Munich winners against Chelsea, 3-1. To be fair, Chelsea gifted that game, and Bayern Munich made sure they punished Chelsea accordingly. And PSG were winners in the game against Atalanta, really good victory. Barcelona won against Newcastle. Marcus Rashford was on target. Really good win for Barcelona there. And Liverpool also pretty decent performance against Atletico Madrid. 3-2 it ended and all of that. It was match day 1 of the Champions League. And coming up this weekend on Saturday, Chelsea versus Manchester United. And then on Sunday, Arsenal will be taking on Manchester City. Big game, no doubt about it. And Chelsea coming back from Germany. Ruben Amorim.
Mickey Charles has a message for Fentuo.
I said,
He said Fentuo should visit Roppongi in Tokyo.
Okay. Let me go to Sicho. Sicho is still there. Sicho, Charlie, the Champions League games were fun. They were interesting. Particularly the Juventus Dortmund game. No, Vlahovic, Charlie, he shows say now he still got Kappa. Not bad. Proper poacher goals. Charlie, correct player.
Yeah, and his story coming into the season is fascinating because he was one of those players who looked like he probably was going to leave Juve, but even if he wasn't leaving, the Juventus hierarchy made him feel like he was not going to be the number one, right? So they brought in Jonathan David, they brought in Openda, and then there is him. But as the season started, I mean, he scored over the weekend. He scored already in the Serie A this season, and coming into the Champions League, he's also banged in the goals, assisted one. The ball to Kelly was brilliant. So Kelly was really good. It was almost like he was supposed to have been there to connect the head to it. But this is what Vlahovic is all about. He likes the challenge. He likes the fight. And I've always said that when he's in a good mental space and he's in a good physical shape, in and around the box, there aren't many strikers better than him in the Serie A and maybe in Europe. So yeah, he's telling Juventus hierarchy that yes, there's Jonathan David, there's Openda, but I'm still the guy.
But then you talk about, what's the name, Chelsea and how they perform against Bayern Munich. I mean, the assessment is that Chelsea did well. and
In fact,
they gave the
just
game
before you
away.
Proceed, just before you proceed, Augustine Ahiful has a message for you.
Me.
He said, "How can you say Chelsea gifted the game to Bayern? Did Chelsea
Charlie-
play better?"
Chairman, back pass, no. Or the channel. I don't know what Gusto was doing in that point. Yeah, more pressure. Man, in control. He was closer to Charlie. I never see me. Hey, hey, Sitsofe. No,
Augustine Ahiful disagrees with you. Just
it's
Chelsea does not give away the
it's
game.
understandable. Charlie, Sitsofe. Chelsea try. We
Yeah.
try. We do our best.
Well, look, coming into this season, one of the things I said about Chelsea was I really wanted to see how Enzo Maresca was going to shuffle between playing in the Champions League and playing in the Premier League with a squad that I think is not bulk enough, or doesn't necessarily have enough quality to compete for the Premier League and also be dominant in the Champions League. So the squad is just decent. But remember, last season he had two teams. He had a team that would play in the Premier League. He had a team that would play in the Conference League. In fact, they didn't even register for Palmer for the Conference League for the league phase. They only registered him in the knockout stage. So he could play Dewsbury Hall, a Champon, all the other players that were not going to feature in the Premier League. He could play them in the Conference League. So he was almost, the players who were playing the Premier League, most of them were only playing a game a week. This season is going to be different. You cannot tell to Palmer that sit out and wait for a Premier League game because we're going to play against Bayern Munich and I want to play the Premier League game. He will play his best players in big European nights. And of course, also play his best team in the Premier League games. The difference is he will be tempted to rest some players for Premier League games and play the Champions League games, or depending upon which one is bigger or more important, he will rest some players somewhere. So think about this. He rested a couple of players in the weekend leading to the game against Bayern. And we saw in that first half when they played over the weekend, Chelsea were not great. Yes, once he made those substitutions in the second half, they looked a lot better. Palmer came, he scored a goal, Chelsea went 2-1 up. In the end, they drew the game. And he started his best squad. I think Chelsea would have won the game over the weekend. Then, because I think he had an eye on the midweek game. Now, in the midweek game, he now has to play his best players. But he came into the game thinking he could do what he did to Paris Saint-Germain in USA. The difference is, this time, you were playing against a Bayern Munich team, not on the neutral ground, but away from home. Now, away from home is different from when you're playing against a very good team at a nobody's land. But this is in Germany at the Allianz Arena. The Bavarians are going to be there. You're playing against Bayern Munich. They started a good start to the season. And one thing that I think struck me and Chelsea never reacted to was what Bayern Munich were doing with Harry Kane. So whenever Bayern Munich were building up from, as always, they'll build up from. But Harry Kane, who was the number 9, was never really the number 9 when Bayern Munich were on the ball and building up. So Harry Kane could drop as deep as alongside one centre half or the number 6. So in every phase of the build-up, Harry Kane was helping to create an overload. But what made it even more dangerous for Chelsea was that whenever Harry Kane dropped into the middle of the park, he dropped alongside Caicedo, and that meant that, and remember, Sitsofe was playing the number 10 predominantly. So if Gnabry is in his number 10 position, and Harry Kane is also dropping into that position, then Caicedo and Rhys James are occupied. So Caicedo is keeping an eye on Harry Kane, who has dropped, and then Rhys James is keeping an eye on Gnabry or Luis Diaz, depending upon if they switched their positions. The problem then it was left with only Enzo Fernandez to deal with Pavlovic or Kimmich. And there was another problem. Pavlovic and Kimmich, who were central, they also had Lima, who was inverting. So at times, Bayern Munich had 3 players with only Enzo having to deal with them because Caicedo was afraid to leave Kane, and of course, Rhys James was also afraid to leave Nabila. So Bayern had too much of the ball, too much space, and too much time. The other problem too was because Chelsea were looking to play on the count, and brilliant goal, by the way. The Chelsea goal was brilliant because Chelsea were looking to do a lot more on that. Cole Palmer and Neto were the outballs for Chelsea, so they were a bit higher. So that created a big gap between Neto and Cucurella and Cole Palmer and Gusto. So we saw a lot of Luis Diaz dropping to pick the ball, Ulisse having a lot of the ball without necessarily people doubling up on him. So I think that generally Chelsea's structure and approach to the game and the Allianz Arena, getting Bayern to see a lot of the ball and then handing Bayern Munich possession to their most dangerous players, Ulisse, Harry Kane, Joshua Kimmich. It cost them that game. Look, you can speak about all the goals they considered and say maybe Chelsea gifted an own goal, the back pass that led to the Harry Kane. But there was never any point in the game where Bayern Munich looked like they were under any threat from Chelsea because they very much neutralized the threat Chelsea posed. And in the end, Chelsea didn't have enough to beat Bayern away at Bayern.
Actually, let me bring you in on this one. Marcus Rashford in Barcelona. What way, I call it, it was a brilliant shade of Manchester United.
But I think it wouldn't be fair because Atsu commentated on the Chelsea Bayern game.
No, fair enough. Me, it's in fact the storylines that I liked from the midweek were the Liverpool and the Barcelona games. For Barca, I think this is exactly the sort of outcome that we expected. Newcastle half and tough, but ultimately they would not have the quality. It was good for Marcus Rashford. The goals that he scored were quite strange because everyone has known the remarkable power that he's got in that right foot, but he doesn't always take long range shots. So this was different for him. The second goal that he scored.
Yeah.
Even for the first goal, you don't always see Marcus Rashford attack across like that. So it's really interesting that he managed.
You think his game is changing, sort of?
Not necessarily. I think he's in a much better place, less complicated situation, but more importantly, away from the pressure cooker role he had at Manchester United. Look, Rashford has never been the guy to lead an elite team's attack. He's not consistent enough to do that. I don't think he has a temperament for it either. Because if you look at the 10 years that he was at Manchester United, any season where he did well and went into the next season with the expectation of being the main guy, things did not exactly go according to plan. So I think this is the perfect environment for him. It's Liverpool that I'm a bit curious about because the way they are conceding goal, the rate at which they are conceding is quite alarming. Last season when they started the campaign, they went about 6 weeks without conceding a goal. In fact, they conceded on match week 6 of the Premier League season in that 2-1 away win over Wolverhampton Wanderers. But the first 5 games in the league, they did not concede a goal. But they ended the season rather poorly as far as their defensive numbers are concerned because they conceded in each of their last 5 games in the league. They conceded 7 goals in that time. And it has carried over into the new season. Yeah. You could say the fact that they are now having to rejig the defense, rejig the midfield, and rejig the attack all in one go. Because now you have 2 new fullbacks in the team. You have a new attacking midfielder who the midfield have to take into account when they are moving forward in Florian Wirtz. And then 2 new shiny toys further up the pitch as well. But whichever way you look at it, they have not convinced because they've considered in each of the 5 games that they have played, the earliest winner they have scored this season has come in the 83rd minute. In each of the 5 games that they have played, they have scored, the winning goal has come after the 83rd minute mark. In 3 of those games, they've had to score in stoppage time. And I thought if there was a game where they could take advantage of and change the narrative, Atletico Madrid was the perfect opponent because they are not an ultra-offensive team. They came into this game on a terrible form. They had not won a game in the opening 3 games of the season. Liverpool scored 2 quick goals to start the game. So you thought that, look, it had all the makings of a shift from norm. But somehow they've managed to concede again. And I suspect this will continue for a while. For the time being, they would have to take consolation from the fact that they keep winning games. No matter how difficult it is, they keep winning games. I also noticed the strange debut of Alexander Isak. So he looked pretty sharp for someone who has not been active all season. But in his first game, a lot of the things that you would expect for someone who has not played for this while were there. So, for example, he did not touch the ball until I think about 10 minutes of the game and was not involved in both goals that Liverpool scored. But ultimately, when he did, I thought he was beginning to show a certain familiarity with Florian Wirtz. They had some interesting give and go. Unfortunately, it did not result in a goal for them. But yeah, that was, I think, was a decent or a refreshing point for Arne Slot from a game where there was not a lot to cheer about. Because look, I don't think even he said it, that they need to find balance in the way that they approach some of these games, because you can't be expected that for every game they need to score 3 goals or more before they can win. it is not sustainable, and he needs to find a solution to that before it's.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Liverpool's last 5 games. The results, I think, spanning from the Premier League. First game against Bournemouth, 1-4 against Newcastle. The second game, 3-2. They won that game. Then Arsenal, it was a lone goal, 1-0. They won it. Then Burnley, just before the Champions League game, they also won that 1-0. Then Liverpool, the game against Atletico Madrid, it ended 3-2, but it was almost ended in a draw. But for Van Dijk's header, they took the lead. I think on the first 20 minutes.
First 6 minutes.
Musbau,
They scored 2. They scored 2 goals.
Yeah, Sitsofe.
Yeah, but I just want to chip in a little bit on the Liverpool thing. Look, I'm not particularly worried about Liverpool thing because, again, yes, they let in some goals, but normally when teams are conceding goals, I personally want to look at the kind of goals they are conceding. Is it a structural problem? Is it a personal problem? Or was the goal just too good not to concede? Even though every goal you conceded, the goal conceded, right? So, for example, Man United last season, almost every cross or cutback was a goal against Man United, and that was a problem. This season, from last season as well, almost every cross or corner can lead to a goal for Man United, so that's a genuine problem. For all the goals Liverpool have conceded this season, I don't think they are meaning in there. That has to do with a structural problem. So I'm not going to blame Arne Slot or I'm not going to say it's a problem for Liverpool. I think some players are going to be a lot better. Milos Kerkis, he was at fault for one of the goals that they considered against Newcastle, right? But when you look at the 2 goals, I'm not going to blame Liverpool's structure. One was on the counter attack. There's no way they're going to stop that because from where it came from. One was just a sheer brilliant individual goal by Antoine Semenyo. And when you look at Atletico Madrid goals as well, the first one, in my opinion, should be offside. I think Griezmann was quite clearly blocking the view of Alisson, who couldn't have seen the ball at the time the ball was being played and couldn't have decided where to even dive onto the ball was moving close to Griezmann. So that was unfortunate. Then the Marcus Llorente goal as well. There's no way Liverpool defend that goal. It's a shot from the end of the box. It deflects. Goalkeeper can't save that. So for me, if the goals they were conceding were from a structural issue, teams are breaking them down in a certain way that is consistent, then I have an issue. But I think all of this is going to fix itself. Liverpool are not necessarily playing well as a unit yet, but they are getting the goals, and they are getting the win. That's the mark of a good team. So wait till when Liverpool look like they've arrived and everything is in place. That is where they become a lot more dangerous. So yeah, they are conceding. I get that, but I'm not worried.
Yeah, well, let's see how they fare. So that's it. Let me just do this one. We'll go for a quick break, and we'll come back. We'll try and wrap up with the games coming up this weekend. And, okay, let me just do this one. Just remind you of the CAF Confederations Cup game happening on Sunday, Kotoko vs Kwara United. We're inviting all of you to come to the Joy FM front decks and get a ticket. Of course, it's not for free. Popular standards, 50 Ghana cedis. And you get, center line, 70 Ghana cedis. And VIP, lower VIP, 100 Ghana. And upper VIP, 150 Ghana cedis. If you're a Kotoko fan, this should be nothing for you. You should just get it, buy more for people. All Kotoko fans. I think Muftawu is a Kotoko fan. Last time he mentioned it. So let's see.
No, I am a Kotoko fan, actually.
Yeah, great. So,
when they lose matches, I suffer. This one there.
Up to now?
Sometimes
up to now?
Sometimes I try to detach myself. Actually, football is bad though. Football can kill you.
So
Football
make sure you come for the ticket available at the front decks of Joy FM. So make sure you come for it. I'm just going to take a quick 10. I want to come back. We'll wrap it up with the games happening this weekend. All right. So this is still game plan. Let me tell you about funny boy in it.
I'm looking at your images from the funeral commentary.
Bye-bye. Yeah, Kwaba.
This September, Too Cute Entertainment House, in partnership with AVV Foods, present 3-time Best Stand-Up Comedian, 2-time overall Best Comedian, Ghana's finest comedy export. It's Legacy the Comic, FBI.
I miss Papa J's era. Sometimes I picture his relationship with Atamel where they are now. I wish I could interview Atamel. My dodging. If they get it there, why by heaven, I'll be a
Funny boy in it, performing alongside Lexi, Chris Mapani, and KG Mokhadi, all from South Africa. General Ntati, Harrod Mao, Ben Sao, James Brown, Jeffrey Norte. Ticket 200 Ghana cedis regular, 300 Ghana cedis double, 300 Ghana cedis VIP, and 500 Ghana cedis VVIP. Star 714 star 800 hash on the front desk of Joy FM. Funny boy in it. Sponsors South African Airways, Asempa Fear Graphics, Pabwara. It's all going down Saturday, 27th of September, 2025 at the UPSA NSA Auditorium, 7 p.m. sharp. Media partners, Joy 99.7 FM, Hitz FM, Adom TV, Joy Prime, Joy News, by joyonline.com. This September, Lexi is the FBI you know. He's a funny boy, innit?
This BB Niger season 10, no filters, no scripts, no holding back, cause it's 10 times the drama, 10 times the rivalry, 10 times the game. Pay your subscription today and catch all the drama, fights, and more in BB Niger season 10, showing on DSTV channel 198 and GoTV channel 149. Watch the Sunday eviction shows live on Aquaba Magic, channel 150 on DSTV. And channel 102 on GoTV.
2024 champion!
This is where curiosity meets competition, where equations, reactions, and theories collide under the spotlight. The National Science and Maths Quiz is back. Bigger, tougher, more brilliant. From physics to chemistry, biology to mathematics, only the boldest minds can survive the heat. Who will solve their way to glory? Catch every contest live on Joy News, Joy Prime, and Joy FM, and follow the action across our digital platforms. The date is from the 13th to the 30th of October 2025. The 2025 National Science and Maths Quiz is produced by Primetime Limited and sponsored by the Ghana Education Service. This broadcast on Joy News is supported by NASCO, Vitamilk, Ayuda Hub, Virtual Security Africa, Chopbox Technology, Ambition Consult, German Ozone Medical Center, Ace Medical Insurance, Achimota Mall, Slam Technologies, Family Health Medical School.
The luckiest. Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah, the luckiest. Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah. Money we define, every day and night. Mama, dada keep on hustling for the family, the luckiest. Last dance, everyone to hush. You can win some cash, you can be the luckiest with one CD. Luckiest with 5,000, the luckiest. The teacher, doctor, market woman, you can be the luckiest. Oh, the luckiest. Luck is everywhere, for everyone. You can be the luckiest. The luckiest. Luck is everywhere, yeah, for everyone. Yeah. Stars, everyone to hush. Luck is everywhere. Luck is everywhere. Oh, tell me, are you feeling lucky? Because I'm feeling lucky. Because I'm feeling like the ultimate. That how we go win. If I win, you win. You could be the luckiest.
Get ready for a night of worship and celebration this September 21st, 2025. All roads lead to the National Theatre for Bernard Amankwa's celebration of His Grace concert under the theme Thou Art Loosed, featuring an all-star lineup of anointed ministers: Reverend Thomas Yorson, Dave the Music Box, Gina Bankram, Roderick Ejekum, La Famille, Empraise, and Presence Band. It's more than an encounter. Experience the freedom we adore as chains are broken and hearts are set free. And the best part, admission is absolutely free. With gratitude to our proud sponsors InnoLink, Rayroy, New Professionals, Innovate, Specialize, Fomi Ghana, and Controlite. Time is 6 p.m. sharp. Media partners: Joy FM, Adom FM, Senpai FM, Hitz FM, Adom TV, Joy Prime, My Joy Online. Call 0554 074 766. Mark your calendars for September 21st and come prepared to worship and celebrate. See you there.
Well, Joe 99.7 FM is game plan. We've got just about few minutes, just under 6 minutes to go, and we'll be done. But guys, let me come to you, Muftawu. I'm sure. Yeah, of course. I was coming to you to talk about the CAF Competitions Cup. Viviani Gold Stars against JS Kabili, and Kotoko against Kwara
United. In recent times, the performance of Ghanaian clubs when it comes to CAF Interclub football competition have been quite disappointing, apart from the fact that we saw Dreams FC make it to the semi-final. The other clubs have always struggled. My very own Kumasi Asante Kotoko over the years have struggled against the likes of MC Oyulma, Kadiago, Cara Brazzaville. I remember the Cara Brazzaville match. I couldn't even write my match report because of how the team missed the penalties and all that. But I'm hoping that they are able to turn things around. I'm hoping that this is a tie they'll be able to get an advantage, at least make it to the money zone of the competition. If you make it to the money zone, that's where you can also flex your muscles more, because over the years you've spent so much going into Africa and you get nothing in return. So making it to the money zone will be critical. I've gone through the numbers of Kwara United. Not too exciting. I've gone through the numbers of GS Kabile. In fact, in the last 5 matches, GS Kabile haven't won one. So I think that Gold Stars should fancy their chances. But football is a sport that in fact, the footballers will tell you that they know they talk true. Yeah, you may be there thinking that yes, this is a game you should be able to win. However, you get on the pitch and some conditions and factors might just play out in favor of your opponent. And if Bibiano Gold Stars do not take the opportunities that will come their way, they will struggle. If Kotoko don't take the opportunities that will come their way, they will struggle. But I'm just hoping that they should be able to change the narrative of Ghanaian clubs participating in Africa.
We'll see how they'll fare, and you can come to the Joy from Phone Dex for your tickets to the game between Kotoko and Kwara United. 50 Ghana cedis, popular stand, 70 center line, and of course lower VIPs 100 Ghana, 150 the big boys. You can do that. Okay, if you got 1,000 cedis for Black Stars game, 150 Ghana for Kotoko, and you're bad. Atsu, not sure if you want to touch on the Kotoko game, but I wanted to speak about the games coming up. Amorim's job at this point, I think the game against Chelsea.
If you're a Manchester United fan, it is in your interest that Chelsea wins and wins convincingly on Saturday.
You say whether in the kitchen, whether in the
that was Pep.
No,
you see, calm down.
Atsu told me on Saturday that.
Calm down. That game, I had dispatched Sitsofe and Cranton to go and advise Amorim. But Amorim no asording then talk here.
Whether in the kitchen, whether in the dining hall, wherever Amorim meets Pep,
if Amorim had listened,
if
Amorim had listened to my boys, this one easy. If he had taken notes from Sitsofe and Cranton, like easy.
Casa no dos too much. Casa no dos too much.
Let me make
United form Casa too much.
I'm addressing my United fans.
I'm making a point.
I'm a team in here.
If you are a United fan out there, it's in your interest that tomorrow Chelsea wins and wins convincingly. Because Ineos, they are too stubborn. If it's some 2-1, 1-0 where United look like they were decent, they will take encouragement from that mediocre performance that was not good enough to win, to say that, they are showing signs of life. So let's give it time. A manager who has averaged a point per game across 31 games, that's 7 games short of a full season. A full Premier League season is not good enough.
Let me just I think that
so
Charlie,
I need Manchester United to lose tomorrow. Don't come and ask me about my objective view. If you are interested in that,
Sitsofe said that everything has points saved Man U, or they were relegated last year.
Charlie, Sitsofe, quick one.
Tomorrow,
final words. Let me wrap up so that
the guy is irredeemably bad. And he has this arrogance around him
no longer
that
Amorim
I
football.
cannot make sense of. He has to go, and for that to happen, United need to lose tomorrow.
Charlie, me do. You bomb 5 years. Charlie, Sitsofe, give me some predictions. Quick one, then I just wrap up. Quick predictions. Sunday, Arsenal City.
I think Chelsea will win, and I think Arsenal as well would either win or draw. Yeah.
Well, let's see. Chelsea win is a very important one. Charlie, one more bear 6. Bear 6 mean I
I'm far. I'm far.
I'm only more a bad boy. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. Really appreciate Petrosol Platinum Energy, energizing your dreams, and Betway, Getway More. They've been our partners today. Game Plan was brought to you by them. We'll be back again same time next week, Friday.